Hey there nation, welcome to the show. We help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander CheapSkate, and now it's time for another edition of The Longest War. This is our series of Warhammer 40,000 battle reports for 8th edition. It is a 1,000 point battle that is fought between my friend Scream of the Emo with his Ravenwing of the Dark Angels versus yours truly of Watch Company Tertius of Talassa Prime Watch of the Deathwatch. So that's right, ladies and gentlemen, our two armies will be throwing it down at 1,000 points. We're going to see exactly what happens when the Watch Company from a Deathwatch unit goes up against the Ravenwing of the Dark Angels. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play some background music real quick. If you want to see exactly what we're bringing for each of our armies, please feel free to pause and take a look at your own leisure. So that being said, let's get this on. Alright, so here's the scenario rules for this one. As you can see, we're fighting on a 4x6 table. I'm deployed on the near side of the table. My friend Scream of the Emo's forces are deployed on the far side of the table. Like I said before in previous videos, we're still just learning how to use this game. My friends are getting their armies slowly put together around 1,000 points. Same thing with me. And we're still kind of getting used to playing this game and using the rule sets and using our armies. So there are no real scenario rules for this one, so there's no real objectives. We're not really using command points at this point. We're just getting used to our armies. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the battle plan real quick. So like I said earlier, I'm deployed on the near side of the board. As you can see, my friend Scream of the Emo has deployed his entire Ravenwing forces, all of his biker units, as well as his general over in the left-hand corner of the table. Pretty much what I'm thinking is what he's going to do is he's going to try to sweep across my left-hand flank and then sweep across my main lines and hopefully destroy me that way. As you can see on the bottom of the page there, that's my army located at. As you can see, I have my two kill teams, my two assault kill teams, Kill Team Toldorax, as well as Kill Team Zakaon, located on the left-hand side with Nihilus, my Venerable Dreadnought. And what those guys are going to act as, because of my assault team, they're really good at getting engaged in close combat. So what I'm going to try to do is try to suppress my enemy's forces by engaging him on the left-hand side of my assault teams, as well as my Dreadnought. Using my Dreadnought as kind of like bait for him to kind of go to the left so that way he can conquer me. At the same time, I'm going to infiltrate to the right-hand side, the ruined buildings there in the middle of the table, and at the MCI chemical tower on the left-hand side, and try to flank from the right using my regular support teams. So over there I have Kill Team Dothros, as well as Kill Team Kroll, as well with our Captain Artemis, so that way he can lend support for those guys, and hopefully I can infiltrate to the right-hand side and catch my opponent at crossfire and kind of take him out that way. At the same time, for my assault units, I'm going to have my Apostolatory Gaius, as well as Chaplain Cassius, travel with my assault team, so that way they get the buffs from Chaplain Cassius in the fight phase. They also get some little bit more damaging done with the psychic abilities from Apostolatory Gaius, so that's pretty much the plan I'm going for with that one. And then Captain Artemis can give his buffs to his units when I catch him in the crossfire. That's pretty much the scheme I'm kind of going with for this battle report. Alright, so with the battle plan done, let's talk about deployment real quick for the Deathwatch. Over here in the left-hand flank is where my assault elements are located at. Making my very far left-hand flank, I have Nihilus, my Venerable Dreadnought. He's got a close combat weapon, double last cannons, not double last cannons, twin last cannons, as well as a heavy flamer. If you also notice there, I also have one of my beacons there for my teleporters. That way, if I need to, I can teleport Kill Team Dothros back to this left-hand flank to lend it some support. Right next to him I have Kill Team's Ikeon, that's led by a sergeant armed with a plasma pistol as well as a power sword. I got a black shield in there with a heavy thunder hammer. I also got two Deathwatch veterans, both armed with bolt guns. One's armed with a power sword, while the other one's armed with a chainsword. And then right behind him I have a Pulsatory Gaius, that's my librarian as well. On the right hand side of this I also got my second assault team, that's Kill Team Toldorax. Right in the front I got my two Vanguard veterans. One's armed with chainsword and hand flame, and the other one's armed with twin lightning cannons. Sorry, not lightning cannons, lightning claws. In the center of the table, on the unit, of course, I have my Deathwatch biker. Right behind the left-hand side, I have another black shield who's armed with a storm shield, as well as a power maul, and then my sergeants on the right-hand side armed with a shotgun. And then right behind them, of course, I have Chaplain Cassius, so that way you can lend some support for them in the close combat during the fight phase. And that pretty much makes up my left-hand flank on this one. And finally, making my right-hand flank on the left-hand side, actually, I have Kill Team Dotharos, that's led by my sergeant who's got a power storm shield as well as a combo melta. I got two combo meltas in that unit, a heavy furnace bolter with a heavy flamer, heavy bolter combined, as well as my Terminator armed with a heavy flamer, as well as a Melta-Fist as well. And then right in the forest there, right behind them, that's another teleporter beacon in case I need to deploy my Kill Team Dotharos there as well, because they're the only units with a Terminator, so they're the only ones who can kind of jump around the battlefield and lend support. And that makes up the left-hand kill team. In the center, I have Watch Captain Artemis, because he's a special character, and that guy is just freaking awesome. And then finally, make up my right-hand side, I have Kill Team Kroll. That's led with a sergeant who's armed with a common melta as well as a power sword. I got two frag cannons in there, and I also have two stalker pattern bolt guns with them as well. And that pretty much makes up my right-hand deployment. And over here in the left-hand corner is the deployment for Scream of the Emo's Ravenwing. He decided to deploy his entire army right there in the left-hand corner. Starting on the left-hand side, that's his bike squadron from the Raven Ring. Those guys have 5 bikers. They're armed with, one was armed with a plasma gun. The rest are armed with bolt pistols and frag cannons and crack grenades. They also got twin bolt guns as well, so it's pretty deadly. The attack bike that's attached to this unit is packing a multi-melta, which could be very, very deadly against my Dreadnought because it has high strength as well as high damaging weapon against anything like vehicles, Dreadnoughts, that kind of thing. Right behind them, of course, is their general, that's Samael on Sableclaw. That's the special character who's mounted inside of a land speeder. He's got twin assault cannons as well as twin heavy bolter. He's also packing the Raven Sword as well. That guy is really deadly because he gives rerolls to units within range of his command abilities, as well as giving rerolls for anybody who's part of the Raven Wing, which he has both, and he also receives the same benefits as well. So he is very deadly as well. Not to mention he's also got a 4-up invulnerable save, so I'm kind of worried about that guy as well. And then finally on the right hand side, he has his collection of elites as well as characters. Starting on the left hand side, that's brother Razael. That's the guy who's a chaplain. He's also got brother Zephaniah in there, who's his apothecary, Ravenwing apothecary. He's got a Raven Ring ancient named brother Bishop, and he's also got another guy named brother Micaiah, who is a Ravenwing champion as well. And so those guys are making a very strong right hand flank because those are made up of characters and elite choices, and they're also pretty tough as well. And that makes up my buddy Scream of the Emo's deployment for this one. Alright, so with all of our deployment over, we go directly to the top of turn number 1. My friend and I reroll for initiative to see exactly who will be going first on this battle report. Alright, so this photo is taken after the move phase. As you can see in this photo, my buddy Scream of the Emo does not waste any time whatsoever trying to get across the battlefield to engage me. He's playing a Ravenwing army, and according to him, he says, well, with these kind of guys, they do very, very well when they start assaulting against you and getting across the battlefield very quickly. From what I just saw from this move phase, these guys can move when they need to. So it looks like on this one, he decided to split up his forces when he decided to move out. On his left-hand side, he has his first squadron, which is his bikers with the attack bike, as well as his general, Samael and Sableclaw. He moves those guys to the left-hand side of the chemical works, engaging my assault team, which I was kind of thinking he was going to do in the first place, and that was kind of like my hopes in order to engage him that way. But then it also looks like he also kind of realized he might be outflanked on the right hand side, so he takes his characters as well as elite choices for his Raven Wing and moves them down the center between the MCI chemical work tower as well as the office building that's in the middle of the table, which actually could be pretty brutal because that means his entire army now is online, for that way they opened up with me on both their twin bolt guns as well as their plasma talons, as well as the heavy weapons from Samael as well, which could prove to be very, very devastating if he manages to get off some really good rolls. So what's going to happen now is that I will have to still try to assault with my assault elements to the left-hand flank, but now my right-hand element, my right-hand kill teams, will have to sweep through those characters in order to catch them at crossfire. And that could prove to be pretty difficult for me, especially if I can't crack those guys, because those guys are characters on the right-hand flank, and they don't break pretty easily on that part. So I'm gonna have to see exactly what happens on that. So that pretty much makes the move phase on this part. And since my friend's not bringing any psychers, we skip the psyker phase and move directly to the shooting phase. To which my opponent actually put 7 wounds onto my Dreadnought Nihilus, which is absolutely terrifying because Nihilus only has 8 wounds, and he's got 1 wound left before this guy dies. And if he dies, he might explode and kill some of my guys as well. What he decided to do is he decided to concentrate fire from 2 things. First of all, he took the twin bolt guns from his bikers, and he had them concentrate fire onto my Deathwatch kill team Zykaon, and he managed to kill 2 of my guys off right off the bat on that one. So that was kind of sad as well. What he then decided to do is also do split fire with his attack bike using the multi-melta, as well as using the twin assault cannons, as well as heavy bolters from Samael to target directly at Nihilus. And that's the reason why he's got so many wounds on him. Most of those wounds were actually caused by the melta gun, which is absolutely devastating. But as devastating as that opening round of salvo was on the left-hand flank, I'm starting to realize that my friend Scream of the Emo, his army, especially on the left-hand flank, is designed for more against anti-infantry rather than against anything armored or anything that has a lot of armor on it. So while it's true that he did cause a lot of damage onto my Dreadnought, it could have been a lot worse. And because of that, I realize now that maybe that's his weakness. Maybe he can move fast and he can hit hard, but he can only hit hard against infantry troop choices. And since I'm playing Deathwatch with toughness 4 with the 3-up armor save, it could actually prove to be beneficial to me if I can just hold out long enough to try to engage him. So that takes place in the left-hand flank with the shooting phase. And meanwhile, here on the right-hand flank, I do lose 1 member of Kill Team Toldorax. I lose 1 of my Black Shields who's armed with a Storm Shield as well as a Power Maul. And that's really about it. My friend Scream of the Emo just kind of flubbed his rolls really bad when he started shooting with his Plasma Talons against my troops. And so because of that, not much really happened in terms of damage. I think 1 of my guys got killed from him, and that was it. He does have a what you call a Ravenwing assault grenade launcher, I think is what it's called, or something like that, on 1 of his characters, but unfortunately wasn't able to make use of it because these guys are all toughness 3 with really good armor saves. So he had to use crack grenades, and unfortunately he missed with those shots on that part. And that pretty much makes it the shooting phase for my buddy Scream of the Emo on this one. Now, because he moved out as quickly as he possibly could with the advance, there is no close combat because he can't really charge at this turn, and since there is no close combat or charging, there is no morale phase. So with that being said, we go to the bottom of turn number 1 for the Deathwatch. Alright, so this photo is taken after the movement phase, and right off the bat, I start executing my plan. Like I said before, my plan originally was to assault with the left-hand flank with my assault teams as well as Nihilus, and then try to flank with the right-hand flank with my 2 support kill teams, and that's pretty much the same plan I'm going with as well. So you can see on the left-hand side, I move up Nihilus as well as kill teams to Zykaon, the remainders of them anyways, as well as Kill Team Toldorax and moving with the left-hand side. I also bring up Apostolary Gaius as well as Chaplain Cassius for support as well, so that way they can lend some buffs as well as psychic abilities to them. I move them up, as you can see, just normal 6 inches. I don't do any advancing because I want to shoot up these units and try to soften up as much as I can. Now, I do realize my weapons are pretty good against toughness 3 opponents, but because these guys are bikers, they're all toughness 5, and that makes them really tough as well. And since they also advance, they get a 5 of ward save as well against shooting, so that's going to be kind of difficult to prove. But I'm going to try to soften up as much as I can before I engage them as well, because each of those bikes is packing 2 wounds apiece. At the same time, on the right-hand side, I move up Kill Teams Dothros as well as Kill Team Kroll. I move Kill Team Dothros right up the gullet, right down between the center of the MCI Chemical Work Tower on the left-hand side, as well as the office building on the right-hand side. So that way they're within melta-gun range, because after watching my last battle report, I realized melta-guns are really, really powerful. So I'm moving those guys to the front, and right behind them I got Watch Captain Artemis, so that way we can buff them as well. And on the far right-hand side there, I have Kill Team Kroll. I moved those guys up. I think I did advance with those. No, I didn't advance with those guys. I just moved up 6 inches, what I did, and have them kind of flank. That way they can shoot between the gap of the office building on the right-hand flank with the fire cannons, and also hopefully cause some damage with their stalker pattern bolt guns as well. And that pretty much makes it the move phase on this part. During the psychic phase, I take Apostolary Gaius and I cast 2 psychic abilities. The very first one I cast off is Might of Heroes. I give that ability to Nihilus the Dreadnought, giving him +1 strength, +1 toughness, and +1 attack until the next psychic phase. And the reason why I put it on Nihilus is because you can only target 1 single models anyways, but the reason why as well is because that way he's a little bit harder to wound, because he only is packing 1 wound. I don't want him to lose it during the combat phase when I charge him in to take care of business. At the same time, I also cast off Veil of Time onto Kill Team Toldorax Toldorax as well, so those guys can reroll advance as well as charge rolls. But that's not the real reason why I cast that psychic ability upon them. The reason why I cast is for the second part of that, which means they always fight first in the fight phase. And the reason why I did that is because when I will charge in during the charging phase, I'll get the first choice of who I get to attack with. And so the way that I kind of read the rules, it looks like I could attack with these guys first and then go to my next unit, which will be Nihilist, to attack next. And then that way I get 2 units going first, and then my opponent can react to what I have going on next during the fight phase. And that's pretty much what I'm kind of trying to do with this one as well. So that makes it the psychic phase on this part. And in this shot, as you can see here, the shooting phase was actually pretty good. I did manage to get off 6 wounds onto Samael with Sableclaw. What I did is I took aim with my twin last cannons and opened up on that guy. Managed to cause 6 wounds on him. I believe that guy's carrying 8 wounds total, so not as impressive as it could have been, but you know, I'll take what I can get at this point because my Dreadnought's about to die any minute. And then what happened next was the combined fire of all the bolt pistols as well as the weapons from my other characters. They managed to kill off 2 members of the biker squad, so that was kind of nice to see that happen. I was just rolling 5s and 6s like I was going out of style, so I got pretty lucky on that part. Plus, one of my crack grenades also killed one of the guys off as well, which is really helpful. And that pretty much makes the shooting phase on the left hand side. And over here on the right hand side, all I gotta say is Meltaguns. Behold the power of Meltaguns. It was absolutely devastating to see the amount of damage those things were causing. And the reason why they were causing so much damage is because Meltaguns have a -4 AP against targets. So because of that, these guys have only 3 up saves, which means they lose their armor saves when they get shot at. The only thing they really had were their jinx saves. And my poor friend, he just couldn't roll those 5 up invulnerable saves. His life depended on it. He was just rolling a bunch of 1s and 3s for those ones. So because they wasn't able to get off any of his vulnerable saves off, I was able just to destroy those guys as well. By frag cannon, originally what happened was that Kill Team Kroll's frag cannons killed off brother Zephaniah. That's the Ravenwing champion that got killed off. So that part was kind of cool, but it took the multi-meltas as well as the Meltaguns from my Kill Team Doldorax that did the most damage. They not only did they kill the apothecary brother Zephaniah, they also killed off the Ravenwing ancient as well, brother Bishop. So because of that, those 3 guys were dead, and the only guy who's left remaining unscathed is brother Raziel, which is the chaplain over there in the back there. So hopefully I'll be able to make the charge distance. It's a little bit longer of a charge distance, but if I'm really lucky, I'll get all my charging units on the right hand side to engage in close combat, then I can finish off that chaplain. But if not, though, he's one guy by himself, and I could probably take care of him later on if I need to. And that pretty much makes the shooting phase on the right hand side. So with shooting phase over, we go directly to the charge phase. And on the left-hand flank, I had no problem just charging in to take on the first squadron of the Ravenwing. So you can see that I have Nihilist as well as the remainder of Kill Team Zakaon as well as the remainder of Kill Team Toldorax. They charge in directly to deal with that first squadron and to take those guys out as well. Hopefully I'll be able to break these guys and destroy them in the first round of combat, so that way I can then concentrate them onto Samael and get rid of him. And hopefully I'll just be able to collapse this entire army in the first turn. But we'll see how that part works out here in the combat phase shortly. Meanwhile, on the right-hand flank, I did try to charge all my units. Unfortunately, Kill Team Kroll was unable to make the distance in order to engage the Chaplain Raziel. However, Watch Captain Artemis, as well as Kill Team Dothros, and actually get engaged in close combat with him, so I'm not seeing much of a trouble for this guy. If Watch Captain Artemis doesn't kill Brother Raziel right off the bat, the rest of the squad will definitely take him apart if necessary. So, looking forward to see exactly what happens in combat here on the right-hand side. So, with the charge phases over, we go directly to the combat phase, as well as the morale phase. And as you can see in this photo, the combination of Kill Team Toldorax, Kill Team Zakaon, as well as Nihilist was enough just to kill those guys down to a man. No morale phase tests were actually needed to be taken on this part of the battlefield because I caused so much damage to my fighters in that very first opening round of combat. It was enough to destroy those guys right off the bat. They didn't really get a chance to even counterattack, so that was pretty nice as well. That spell for the, that psychic power, Might of Heroes, really helped out Nihilist cause as much damage as possible because his close combat attacks cost 3 damage, and that was just enough to just like destroy almost all the bikers in the squadron. The remaining attacks from my Kill Team Kill Team Toldorax was enough to kind of do it as well. I was kind of sad because I didn't get a chance to attack with Kill Team Zakaon really, because I wanted to see exactly what that heavy Thunderhammer does in the hands of a Black Shield, but you know, you can take what you can get at this point. So now that whole squadron on the left hand side is completely destroyed. All I gotta deal with now is Samael on top of the Sableclaw, and hopefully I can get rid of that guy pretty quickly here in a second. And of course, here on the right hand side, Watch Captain Artemis as well as Kill Team Dothros had no problem killing Brother Raziel. Watch Captain Artemis was the guy who put the most wounds onto that guy. He did try to counterattack back, but unfortunately my friend Scream with the Emo was unable to cause any damage onto Watch Captain Artemis. And then it took my Kill Team Dothros to kind of finish off the last wound on him before he pretty much died on that part. So that makes the combat phase on this side. So with the combat phase and the morale phase over, we go directly to the top of turn number 2, and my friend Scream with the Emo and I, we roll for initiative to see who goes first. Alright, so we skip the move phase because my friend Scream the Emo doesn't want to move his character at this point, so we go directly to the shooting phase. And as you can see in this photo, there is a lot of dead bodies. And the reason why so many guys are missing out the table is because I thought my friend Scream the Emo was just going to call it at the top of turn number 2 because he lost so many of his forces. He only has a special character yet, but there is no quit in Scream the Emo. So the first thing he does, he targets a heavy bolter, his twin heavy bolters against my Dreadnought. So fortunately, he causes the last final wound of my Dreadnought, does kill my character. He was rolling 6s like I was going out of style, and unfortunately for me, when I rolled my die to see exactly what happened to Nihilus, he rolled a 6 and he exploded. So not only did he die, he also killed off the rest of Kill Team Zykaon as well, killing Sergeant Zykaon as well as my Black Shield with the Grand Thunderhammers. That was pretty sad as well. He then turned his attention with his twin heavy cannons against twin assault cannons against the rest of Kill Team Toldorax. Not only did he kill the biker, I believe he also killed Sergeant Toldorax as well, who was the guy armed with a shotgun. And the only thing that are left now are my 2 Vanguard veterans as well as Chap and Cassius to kind of deal with this guy. And if I know my British Scream with the Emo, he's going to charge with his Samael and try to kill those guys in close combat. So that was absolutely brutal to watch that happen. So after that, we go into the charge phase, and just as I predicted, my friend Scream of the Emo takes Samael on his Sable Claw, and he charges directly into the rest of Kill Team Toldorax to kill off my 2 Vanguard veterans. So with the charge phase over, we go to the combat phase. And in the combat phase, he finishes off my 2 members of Kill Team Toldorax, killing both my Vanguard veterans, and then he turns and kind of face down Chaplain Cassius, because that's where he's going next if he needs to. So that was absolutely demoralizing to watch that, as 2 of my kill teams, as well as my Dreadnought, just got wiped off the table during turn number 2 because of 1 special character. That was like, oh my god, that was so freaking insane. But anyways, so that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 2 for the Deathwatch on this one. Alright, and since I have no quit in me either, I also start moving during the move phase. The very first thing I do is I teleport with Kill Team Dothros, and the reason why is because those guys have a Terminator within the unit. They can also teleport to the homing beacon that's on the back of the hill here on the left hand side, so you can see that they're redeployed within 6 inches of that beacon. They will not be able to move for the rest of the turn, but they can still shoot, which is perfectly fine because they're within melt-a-gun range of Samael and get maximum revenge for killing 2 of my kill teams off. At the same time, I also advance with Watch Captain Artemis, so that way he's on the top of the chemical work tower, so that way he can start shooting with his bolter if he needs to. And then I also advance with Kill Team Kroll to the left hand side, so that way they can run as quickly as possible to try to take out Samael on his Sable Claw. So with the move phase over, we go directly to the psychic phase. And in the psychic phase, the first thing I do is I get off Smite with a Pulse Glory Gaius against Samael and Sableclaw, and I managed to kill that guy. I put 3 mortal wounds on him. I was able to kill him off with the 7 wounds that he has. I got pretty lucky as well because he did not explode. So because of that, Chaplain Cassius doesn't have to worry about taking any attacks. And so because of that, my entire enemy forces have been destroyed. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the game. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That takes us directly to the end of the game. As you can see, I've completely tabled my opponent's forces on that part. So that being said, we're going to go to the after action report because this battle report is now officially over.
Sure, I could have stayed in the past. Could have even been king. But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Alright nation, now it's time for the after action report. This is the part of the battle report we talk about what went well, what went poorly, and what we can learn for the next time that we do battle. This is the after action report for the longest war, number 9. It was a victory for yours truly, so with that being said, let's talk about our losses real quick. So first of all, I lost 3 things in my army. I lost Nihilus, Kill Team Zykaon, as well as Kill Team Toldorax. My buddy Scream of the Emo, he lost his entire army, which is Samael and Sableclaw, Brother Raziel, Brother Bishop, Brother Zephaniah, Brother Malchiah, and the Ravenwing 1st Squadron. In the end, Ravenwing Dark Angels are extremely dangerous. They are wicked fast, they have great abilities and buffs that kind of help them with rerolls for hits and stuff, and they hit like an avalanche with some of the attacks they had. I was really lucky that my opponent was kitted out for more of an anti-infantry role for his forces than anything else, because if I was playing anything like Toughness 3, Strength 3, like Imperial Guard or Eldar, for example, I could just imagine those forces just being slaughtered by these guys because of the high strength attacks they have. However, luckily for me, I was playing Deathwatch, so because that my troops are Strength 4, Toughness 4 standard, so they survived a little bit better against those kind of attacks. But I still, like I said, lost half my army in the process of doing so. And speaking of which, I'm kind of tired of losing my 2 kill teams all the time. Kill teams I can and Kill Team Teldorax. Those 2 kill teams always get destroyed. Same thing with Nihilus. He always gets destroyed the opening salvo of the attacks as well. So maybe I might have to rethink about those units real quick and, doing something a little bit different with those guys, because those guys are always getting slaughtered every single battle report that I have. Once again, I love Meltaguns. I cannot believe how much I love these things. The only thing I'm sad about is I can't kit out my entire army with Meltaguns, because that'd be way too many points in terms of for my army. My army would be like 10 guys if I could do that. So because of that, I just love those things. I love how much damage they cause, especially against high toughness, high armored units. Those things are just absolutely brutal as well. Once again, I'm having a lot of fun playing this brand new army. It's very deadly. I'm loving playing it. It's very much like a very special ops type of A-team type of hit squad type of army. So I'm really having fun playing with these guys. And once again, this was a really fun game, really bloody, really short, really deadly, and I had a great opponent playing against him. I'm looking forward to playing the next one on that part, because a rematch between these 2 armies cannot come soon enough. As always, you guys, feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is always appreciated. Also, if you want to, check us out on Facebook, Google+, Instagram, as well as Blogger for all the latest and greatest information about our hobby. That's good to do for this one, you guys, for Battle Report number 9 of The Longest War. We will catch you guys this Thursday when we talk about another episode of the Underhive Wars. You guys stay classy. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.